Hey guys, how you going? So today on BK Sport, we actually won a game. Oh yeah, we damn well did. The Wallabies won game number 4. Holy shit, mate. Holy damn well shit. We actually won a game. This calls for a party. The Americans, they're partying over Joe Biden getting elected, and the Australians, we're partying about actually winning a damn well game of rugby union. And South Africa is obviously partying too, because they don't have to come and play the Wallabies and the All Blacks. See, everyone wins. Game number 4 of the Bledisloe Cup, and obviously the Tri-Nations mixed in as well, but Bledisloe Cup is over. The Kiwis did win 2 of the 4 games, but they also drew, so basically that means that they won the Bledisloe Cup. That was last week. So as much as it didn't mean too much in regards to the Bledisloe Cup, it meant a hell of a lot in regards to the Tri-Nations. Gee whiz, what a game, eh? What a bit of a random game, really. You know, a bit of a scrappy one, bit of a feisty one. You know, there was a lot going on. There was red cards, as in cards with a plural, S, 2 red cards, and also a couple of yellow cards, plural, with an S, 2 yellow cards. I just want to start off by saying that the Wallabies defence was what won them the game last night. The Wallabies defence has been non-existent, especially last week. It's been non-existent really because the All Blacks are just such a dominant team and powerful team that they just know how to just keep pumping the line, and you know, they break you down. You know, they just keep pushing and keep pumping until they break you down, and then once they actually break you down, that's when the floodgates start to open. And we saw that last week in the first half where All Blacks just kept putting on pressure and pressure and pressure, and they finally broke through, and then yeah, the floodgates opened. This week, the All Blacks had a lot of pressure. They were dominating from the outset, and yet the Wallabies scored first. Then the All Blacks scored. Now, both tries are a bit kind of how you going. The Wallabies just throwing the ball around and it bounced perfectly for the Wallabies and they scored. The All Blacks, on the other hand, they kind of scored out in the left wing when the ball probably should have been intercepted, but the ball, not for a try or anything, just like in general, but the ball ended up bouncing back off a deflection into the hands of the Kiwis. So in regards to those first 2 tries, I don't really think that really meant anything, so I still kind of considered it 0-0. New Zealanders, as always, kept on the pressure. They kept up the attack. They kept on holding the ball, but they just couldn't break through. They couldn't actually get over the line, and you know, they actually kept losing meters. And I kept saying this on the stream. By the way, guys, we do stream every single game in our reaction, so subscribe if you're new around here. But the Kiwis, they kept losing meters despite having, you know, 14, 15 phases. They actually lost like 5 meters at one stage, so it really showed that the Wallabies really were up for it defensively last night. Now, if you move into the end part of that first half, the reason this game was won was because, again, the All Blacks, they had like 5 lineouts in a row, 5 meters out. There was a yellow card to Marika Gorbetti, which was fair enough, but with that frenzy of lineouts, the All Blacks couldn't score, and in the end, the Wallabies held out and didn't give up any points. That's where this game was won. In regards to the attack of the Wallabies, I wasn't really impressed. I thought that the tactics weren't really there. I don't know if it's the same thing that I said last week in regards to the fact the players think they know better than the actual coach, but there wasn't really too much attack going on. There really wasn't too much positives in regards to the attack for mine. I know we did score 24 points in the end, but in the same sense, New Zealand still had every right and every chance to win that game, even though they weren't that great in the game. So in regards to the Wallabies specifically, really positive, really great defense. That's what got them over the line, but the negative is that the attack still isn't there, and the fluidity isn't there still. But this is a really young team, so hopefully, as Rennie's been saying, it's more about the growth than the actual wins themselves. Moving on to my thoughts about the All Blacks, I thought the positive was that they still stuck in the game. They're the All Blacks, you know, they're one of the best teams in the world. I say one-off because a lot of Kiwis forget that South Africa still won the World Cup, and I also think that they won the Rugby Championship last year. Did they not? If they didn't, then please raucous me in the comments, you know, smack me up in the comments, but I'm pretty certain that South Africa won the Rugby Championship last year too. So I'm not too sure why the All Blacks fans keep talking as if it's like they are the number one. It's like, let's not forget South Africa here, lads. Let's not forget South Africa, and there is also a couple of other teams, like your England, who are pretty damn well good too. So, All Blacks, definitely one of the best teams in the world, and I think last night showed it. Last night showed that although they were beaten by the better team, in my opinion, they still stuck in it, and they still had every chance to win it right up until the final siren. You know, they still had every chance to win it, despite playing quite poorly, and giving away a lot of penalties, and just not being there for the game. I think there was too much feistiness, and I think there was too much kind of bravado and pride in regards to, for example, TJ Perenara. Like, he wanked on last night. Like, come on, man. Like, TJ Perenara is a great player, but last night he did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yet had the audacity to just talk shit the whole game. I actually think that was a detriment to New Zealand. He was too much focused on talking shit rather than playing the game itself. And I just didn't respect it. But damn, man, like, if you're going to talk shit, it's just like last week with Filipo Dangunu. I came on here and absolutely flogged him because if you're going to talk shit, at least perform, at least back up your words. So Filipo Dangunu talked all that shit to the All Blacks from the Wallabies all week and then had one of the worst games ever. Now, TJ Perenara is talking shit in the game, didn't do anything, so I just don't understand it. You know, I just don't understand why. Like, why? I get you're trying to create aggression and fire your boys up, but every 2 seconds, yap, 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 and every 2 seconds, grabbing someone's head and shoving it, you know, and pushing players, and, like, come on, man. Like, this is Bledisloe Cup. You need to be performing. You need to be playing your best, because I know that the All Blacks, although they won the series, congratulations to them, never take that away from them, they'd be very disappointed they lost one of these games. So the positive for me, All Blacks still stuck in it even though they weren't great. Negative for me, too much shit talk and just a lot of penalties they gave away. They just weren't able to be composed. They weren't able to be composed last night, and usually this All Blacks team is very composed, but, you know, like the Wallabies, they're a very young team too, and they're going through a rebuild as well, so we're going to see this is what I'm saying, you know, the All Blacks, although they're probably still further down the track than the Wallabies, the All Blacks still do have some mistakes in them. They still do have the ability to play like they did last night. In regards to how I take both teams after the entire 4 games that we've seen this year, last week after the Wallabies got flogged, I said, yeah, look, that was deplorable, that was disgusting, and, you know, I'm disheartened by the fact that the Wallabies came out and performed as horrifically as they did. And it really kind of made me lose my focus and lose my belief in the fact that this team was improving and this team was coming out the right way. It did. You guys know this. Everyone knows this. Last week was a massive hiccup for the Wallabies. And even though we've been shit for 20 years, that was probably one of the biggest lows last week because of how positive we did play in game 1 and 2 before getting absolutely trounced in game 3. So last week was a massive hiccup. But I did say in last week's review that this week was where I was really going to be focusing how I took this series. Because game 1, we played really well. Arguably should have won that game. Didn't win that game. Fair enough. So I thought that you definitely could use that as a positive game. Very positive game, that one. Then you looked at game 2. The first half we were right in it. I think we only lost by 3 points. Got pulled away in the end. But don't think we did too badly in game 2. So I think the game 2 could still be used as a positive. Not as much as the first one, but still as a positive. I'm not going to say it's a negative. I know we got beaten by 20 points. But Eden Park, I think that we did pretty well there to at least show that we could compete. So that means game 1 and game 2 was a positive. Game 3, don't even try and look at me. That was obviously a massive, massive negative for this Wallabies team. So that's 2 positives and 1 negative. I said last week that game 4 will tell me if it's a positive series where we played positive in 3 games out of the 4, or it was still a, you know, shit house series where we did okay in the first 2 games and then did shit house in the next 2 games. You know what I mean? So I think that I can call this a relatively positive series. I think it's a step in the right direction. Although we got trounced last week, we had 3 decent games out of 4. We won 1, drew 1, and lost 1 out of those 3 positive games. And I think that you really have to respect that from this Wallabies organisation that has been in so much turmoil for the last couple of decades. Especially the last decade with, you know, Raylene Castle and, you know, fired coaches here and there. I think that this series really was a positive. Now, I really do want to see how the Wallabies go against the Argentinians, though, because the Argentinians haven't actually played too much rugby. You know, they haven't played in probably since the start of the Jaguares season in the Super Rugby, and they only got, like, what, 4 games in before that stopped? So I'm not too sure how ready Argentina's going to be for either the All Blacks or the Wallabies. I guess we'll see that against the All Blacks this weekend. Like I said, I will be streaming it. But overall, I'm going to take a humble positivity out of this series. Finally, before I wrap it up, I just realised I forgot to talk about the red cards. I think the red cards were the right decision. I think it could have been harsh. I did say at the time it was probably harsh, but the letter of the law says, shoulder, straight to the chin, you know, that's a red card. It's a red card offence. Now, a lot of Kiwis are coming out here and saying that the referee was biased, the referee robbed the All Blacks. Like, come on, man. Don't embarrass yourselves, man. You're a fantastic team, fantastic organisation, and you know you got beaten by the better team last night. You know, 1 game out of 4 and you guys are crying about the referees. And I'm not saying all the All Blacks fans. There are a lot of respectful All Blacks fans out there. There's a lot of respectful rugby union fans out there from New Zealand who really do understand that last night just was the better performance by a team that doesn't usually have too many good performances. Obviously, both teams got red carded. Both teams got yellow carded. Both red cards for me. Fair enough. Both yellow cards for me. Fair enough. So really it came down to the fact that the Wallabies just outplayed them in the end. The All Blacks gave away a lot of penalties. If you watch that game, they did give away a lot of penalties. I know that it must be a shock to All Blacks fans to actually lose a game, but man, you gotta humble yourselves. For 20 years, you guys have been talking shit to us. You know, we've won 1 game, and you can't handle 1 loss? 1 loss! 1 loss! And I've been seeing people crying on my DMs. I'm getting people commenting on my videos as if the referee cost All Blacks the game. Like, are you serious? Did you watch last night's game? I can tell you, my team was shit house last week. I can tell you New Zealand deserved game 2. And I can also say that game 1, New Zealand put their foot over the damn well line and scored a try. But all the All Blacks fans were like, oh, that's part and parcel of rugby. That's part and parcel of sport. The referee makes the wrong decision sometimes. So funny how when you guys get a result that can somewhat be favourable to you, it's okay. It's okay for the ref to make a mistake. But when the All Blacks lose 1 game, everyone loses their minds. Everyone loses their minds. It's the ref's fault. Can't be the fact that the All Blacks did actually give up a lot of penalties last night. Can't be the fact that the All Blacks just weren't up to it last night. It was the fact that Wallabies cheated. Like, come on, man. Like, really? Really? You can't handle 1 loss? I've been putting up with losses for 20 damn well years. I never got to see the Wallabies in a good time frame. You guys, your whole life has been a good time frame. So bloody relax, mate. Relax. If you think that you genuinely robbed last night, then please stop watching rugby union. Stop it. I'm just advising you right now. Stop watching rugby union. Because the better team won last night. The better team won the 2 games in between this series. And I guess it could be classed as a fair result in game 1. But if you want to talk about referee mishaps, then let's talk about the fact that there was the foot over the damn well sideline, or coming in from the side after the 80-minute mark, which would have given Australia a penalty. I'm not here complaining about that, because I understand that results, although sometimes they don't reflect the actual gameplay, when a team wins, usually that team deserves to win. I stream all the time in all different sports. Every single person of every single team in every single sport blames the referees. Give me a goddamn break, man. Like, if you honestly think you were robbed last night, please, turn the TV off, go to the ballet. Turn the TV off, go to the damn well ballet. Anyway, guys, that's going to do me for today's video. I do really hope you enjoyed. If you have a different opinion to me, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed yet, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, I will be streaming all the rest of the Tri-Nations, whether it be All Blacks Argentina or Australia and Argentina. So like I said, subscribe. Appreciate you as always. Live your passion. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Stop.